Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes, it's Kathy Colaiacovo, and today on the Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C podcast, we're going to talk about newsletters and emails. And most importantly, we're going to talk about the 5 factors that could be affecting your email marketing results and some of the tactics you can take to get more people opening and reading your emails. Because if you're going to take the time to do this type of marketing activity, you want to do whatever you can to increase the chances of people consuming your information by increasing your deliverability rate and your open and click rates too. Now, if you're listening in here and thinking, well, Kathy, I don't send newsletters or have an email system, so I'm going to skip this episode today. Wait, I encourage you to stop and check it out because there's some ideas that we're going to talk about in this episode that may have you change your mind. In particular, I'm going to be sharing a story that helps you see the value of sending a consistent newsletter and how they can make a difference even if people don't open and read that newsletter. True story, I promise. You will learn something to improve your marketing by listening in today and help you get more clients. So we are talking about newsletters here. And practice and business owners everywhere use newsletters to communicate and engage with the people on their email marketing lists because they know it is one of the best ways that you can be nurturing your community. Nurturing them can lead to more clients and more sales. Now, not everyone on your email list is a client already. Some of these folks are leads or prospects, some will be clients, and some might be past clients too. Many of them could be future clients. Some could become repeat clients, clients who buy from you multiple times, those raving fans who love the work that you do and what you offer. This is why communicating with the people on your email list on a consistent basis is so important as part of your overall marketing strategy. It will take multiple touch points with you for someone to build up that trust and know that you could be the one person to help them out, the person to help them solve their problems and transform their lives. Newsletters help you make these touch points happen. Now, some folks also think they should stop doing newsletters when they have a full practice. No way. This time is more important than ever to keep marketing. You want to build those leads in that community because any day, any client, and I've had this happen to many people, your clients could give you notice, and it may not be one client, it could be more than one. So keeping up with your marketing so that you continue to stay top of mind with people is critical. So yes, even when your practice or business has a wait list, you want to continue marketing. Continue sending those newsletters. This helps you communicate with the people already connected to you and on your email marketing list. You may slow it down if you're busy, but I encourage you not to stop. And if you ask my opinion, if you were too busy to do marketing and you had to choose between sending newsletters to the people on your list or posting content on social media, I would probably tell you to choose newsletters 100% of the time. More sales happen from emails and more business owners get a proven return on investment from email marketing than they do from social media. So if you ever have to choose, I say choose to do the news. And of course, if you've been listening at all to my podcast and reading my social media content and blogs, you know that you want to be consistent with those newsletters and that you can also repurpose that newsletter article to become almost all of your other social media content. So it is possible to have your cake and eat it too. And I know all you intuitive eating dietitians will appreciate the cake reference there. The thing is, Consistency is key to marketing that gets results and brings new leads and new clients in the door. So if you want some ideas on how to repurpose that newsletter content to become your social media content, listen into episode 30 of the podcast, which is Simplify Your Private Practice Marketing by Cutting Down on Your Content Creation. And I'll put a link to that episode in the show notes. The thing that you want to remember here, your community will remember you because of your emails and newsletters, even if they don't open and devour word for word every one of them. Just your name in the sender line in their inbox can often be enough to trigger people to remember you, to know that you are there for them whenever they need you. And here's an example of how this lesson hit home with a client of mine one time. So I had a client who was a lawyer, I'll call her Janine, and she wanted a marketing strategy in place for her practice, but she was very adamant. She did not want to do newsletters. She doesn't like getting emails. Her inbox is full, and she didn't want to do that to people. So here's the thing. We sat down and talked about this because, as you know, I believe in newsletters as one of the best ways to do your marketing and stay top of mind with people. So we did a little role play there, and I said, okay, let's just think about this. So I said, think about your inbox and even look at it now. And I had her look at it and I said, look for some newsletters that are there. I said, find me the first one that you see. And she said, okay, I've got one here from this guy. I said, okay, what's his name? And she told me his name. And I said, do you remember what he does? And she said, yes, he does XXX. I can't remember what it was. And I said, okay, now how do you know this person? And she said, well, I actually met him on LinkedIn and he asked if I wanted to sign up for his newsletter and he gave me a link. So I did, and I signed up there. Or I think I had him sign me up. She couldn't remember which way it was. But either way, she got onto this person's newsletter list because of a connection on LinkedIn. I said, okay, do you open the emails from him? No. I said, why don't you open them? I'm usually too busy to read them. Okay, I said, do you know what he does? Yes. And do you know what services he offers? And she said, yes, he does blah, 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 whatever that was. And I said, okay, but you've never read his newsletters when they come in. You don't open them. You just kind of look at the subject line, look at the name, and then you delete it. And she said, yeah, that's what I do. I said, okay, if you need help with XXX, whatever. I said, who would be somebody that you know you could reach out to? And she just looked at me and she's like, oh crap. Yeah, that would be him because he does whatever it was that he offered. And I said, see, this is where you often think about newsletters from the point of view of being inundated with them in your inbox. But when you go to it from the other side of it, they really do work and they help you stay top of mind with people. Even if right now they're just a lead or a connection or a community member, they can make a really big difference. And so when we look at email marketing, you have to remember it's not just that you want to be sending the emails and the newsletters. You really want to have a strategy behind it. And you really do want people opening them and reading the content and even taking action and clicking on the links you might have in it. So although we learned the lesson with Janine that it is still making a difference even if people don't open it, I really want people opening your newsletters because we don't want to be taking our time doing the marketing and doing all the work behind it and just having people sit there and never really read it. So you really want to make sure that you're looking at tactics that help people open those. We want your emails and newsletters to have a high deliverability rate and a high open rate, meaning you want more people to receive the emails and open the emails. And when we talk about these different factors when it comes to email marketing, receiving the email in someone's inbox, that's all about your deliverability. The deliverability rate is how many people are getting the email in their inbox. Now, I say that because there are some systems out there that not everyone you send the email to will actually get it in their inbox. And we'll talk about that in a second. So then we look at, you've got them in the inbox, you want them to read them, you want to open them. And the percentage of people who do this, that is called your open rate. It means how many people have actually clicked and opened the email to see all of the content. Then, if you have any special links in the emails, you want to know if people are taking action and clicking them. Most email marketing systems will show you those numbers, and that is your click rate, the percentage of people who clicked on the rates from the amount of people that opened the email. So here's how it works. If you have 100 people on your email list, when you send your newsletter out to them, probably on average 20 or 30 are going to open it. So 100 people got your email as long as it was delivered to all of them. Again, some email systems kind of drop some emails. So your deliverability could be only getting the email to 98 people. And maybe 20 or 30 open it. So that means you have an open rate of 20 or 30%, however many people open that. And the fact is, the average open rate out there is probably hovering around 20 to 22%, meaning only 20% of the people who get your email are going to open it. And the click rate averages are probably anywhere between 1 and 3%. So if you're getting anything more than that, you are definitely doing good. But don't be dismayed thinking that, well, I've got 100 people on my list, but only 20 people are opening the emails. This is the reality of email marketing. But there are some things that you can do to improve these rates and ensure that more people are getting your emails and opening them and taking action too. So there's some tactics that I'm going to share with you that as you create and prep your newsletter in your email marketing system, you can think about so that you can be helping boost those rates and getting more people reading the content and clicking through to do more with you as well. So let's dig into those 5 factors that can affect your email deliverability and open rates and talk about some ways to deal with them and offset them. So the first factor is the actual email marketing system you're using. This is your system like MailChimp or ConvertKit or Constant Contact, whatever system you're using for your email marketing. And this could be the first thing that affects your open rate, because sometimes some systems just inherently get higher open rates because of their history with the email servers out there, with the systems that we're sending all of these emails to, the Google, the Outlook, the Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever it might be. I've worked with more than 8 systems in all my time in business the last 15 years. And these systems might have been my system that I used myself or even the ones that my clients used. And I've seen various open rates with all of them. Some of them just inherently get a better deliverability and open rate than others. And I've watched this change as well when we've moved people from one system into another and changed nothing except the system, yet their open rates increased dramatically. I even had several who did a shift like this and their boost in open rates went up by 10%. And this is actually a time from before there was a big change with Apple that put kind of a little bit of false increase in the open rates. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the fact is, you could be using a system that just isn't as good as delivering all of the emails and getting them to the inboxes of the people on your list as other systems. It's just the way that it is out there. In 2019, I was using a system called Infusionsoft, which is now referred to as Keep, K-E-A-P. And my own particular email system at that point had about 18% open rates. And I moved it to a system called Kajabi. And that one I was primarily using for my online courses and my Thrive Marketing Academy and my memberships. And just by switching, the rates went up about 4 to 5%. But then I started seeing, and about 6 months later, I was watching and tracking things, and I started seeing a lot of dropped emails, meaning they just didn't even get to people. And I actually noticed this because loyal readers were emailing me saying, "Hey, Kathy, I haven't gotten your newsletter in a while. Can you check my email in your system?" And this is when I discovered that there was a good amount of people, like over 10%. It was really astronomical, and it was just a large number I've never seen before. But these people were literally being dropped. So what it meant was if I was sending an email to 100 people, about 10 of them just weren't getting it and wasn't recognizing it in the system. And it was telling me I had a 90% deliverability rate, meaning only 90% of the people even got the email in their inbox. The other ones just kind of went out into the world of the internet. And some of those people were the ones that were calling me. So what I did within that 6 months, I actually moved my email marketing over to ConvertKit, which is probably my favorite system I've ever used because open rates with them are really high, deliverability is high, and it made a change immediately. I actually went from being at about 22% with Kajabi to 32%, but everybody was back to getting the emails. So that was a big difference for me. And nothing changed except the system. So it's important for you to understand some of these numbers and know what to look for within your own system when you're looking at some of the reports that you can see. Because you want to make sure that you're looking at the things that will matter, help you make some of these decisions of, do you need to change systems? Is it time to change it? There's a lot to factor into that. And by no means am I saying, hey, if your open rates are low, just go change systems, because moving systems is a huge decision and involves a lot of work and time. But sometimes that time can pay off. It's just, it can make a big difference by putting that into play. So if you are seeing some issues with your systems, your deliverability rates, or people are emailing you and saying, hey, I'm not getting your newsletter, then you want to look at potentially making a change. Sometimes it's worth trying out to see if the grass really is greener on the other side. Now, I did mention a big change with Apple's privacy setup. That happened, I believe it was in 2022. And I did write a blog that goes a little more in detail on this topic. It's called 7 Items to Change with Your Email Marketing. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. It's on my website, pepperatmarketing.com. And it'll give you some more information. But essentially what happened, Apple made a big change in their privacy settings. And what it means is people will get emails. They don't open them, but because of Apple's privacy setting, our systems, so our ConvertKits, our MailChimps, our active campaigns, whatever system you're using, is registering some of those as actually being opened when they didn't open them. So if you've seen a boost in your open rates lately, in the past, probably about a year at this point now, it could be in part due to the change with Apple's privacy setup. So the fact is here with this issue, there really can be some things that within your system, it is just the way that it is. So that's where sometimes you may want to look at, is it time to make a change? Now, the second factor we want to look at here that could be affecting your deliverability and open rates is actually the email system your subscribers are using. So this one is something you actually have very little control over, almost none, in fact. This is the system people are using to check their emails, how they access their emails, whether it's Outlook, Google, Gmail, Hotmail, or Yahoo. Any of these could be affecting your deliverability rates because sometimes those systems are blocking emails from coming in. Hotmail is really good for that one. Or they're getting into the promotions tab in Google and Gmail, and the user forgets to go over and look there because maybe they're inundated with emails and newsletters. So this isn't a factor you can actually control because it really depends on where your people are accessing their email and reading it. But there's a couple things that could help you. One of the things that I recommend to sort of offset this issue is that you have a system in your lead magnet sign up that you have a special message on your thank you page. So this is where you're building your list, you're getting people on your email list. So when they first come on there and they first sign up, this is often where your emails are going to go in their system of promotions or spam or wherever, depending on their email system. So you want to do whatever you can to keep it out of there. So what I like to do is on the thank you page, after they sign up for my ebooks or guides, I have a message there telling them to check their inbox and make sure that they whitelist your email address and add it to their contacts. And what this means is that you're basically looking for them to set up a rule in their email system that says, hey, when this email comes in from this email address, please mark it with a label or put it in a folder or do something with it. And you can even indicate on some things, don't put it in spam, tag it with a label, whatever it could be. When this happens, this helps ensure that those emails don't go in the promotions tab or the spam folder, and it helps people get them into their inbox directly. So I always tell people to check their promotions tab if they use Google or the spam folders, and just let them know that if they don't get the email, the other thing they can do is send you an email and put your contact page and your email on there, and you'll help them figure it all out. So you want to do what you can to let folks know that you've sent them an email to get that lead magnet, that freebie, that download PDF, whatever it is, and that they need to go look for it. And if they can whitelist your email address right away and make a rule for you, that will help them get that email into their inbox easier. When you do this and that email starts going in their inbox, your deliverability rate will go up. And because they've got it there where they can see it now, your open rate's probably going to go up as well. The third factor in this list is subject lines. So people often underestimate the power of subject lines, but they're one of the biggest deciding factors on whether somebody opens that email or not. So you definitely cannot just whoosh over and skip subject lines in your planning of your newsletters. You want to stop and take the time and think about what subject line you're going to use. Think about what will entice people to open that email. And you want to come up with a subject line that will get more people to click and open the emails. So I've written on this topic before, but I wanted to share with you some of the top strategies that I typically tell my clients and members in my Thrive Marketing Academy about when it comes to subject lines. So there are 6 things that I typically share as tactics that can help you improve your subject lines that will help people make that decision. Oh, yes, I want to click that and open it and read it. Number 1, keep it short so that it's easy to understand. And the entire subject line shows even if they're on a mobile device. So keep it to 50 or 60 characters. You can go up to more, but less is more in this case. Try to get people curious and use words that make them want to open it, but don't give away the farm with the subject line. If your subject line includes anything about the topic that will allow your subscriber to prejudge what's going to be on the inside of the email, they might decide that they don't need the info. So I'd rather you get them curious and have them open it where they can make that decision after they see it. If you have a system that allows you to put your subscriber's name in the subject line, that's a good thing to do. It often makes it stand out a little more from the other emails and they'll open it up. Emojis do the same thing here. If you put them in there, if you're on my email list, you know sometimes my emails come with emojis in the subject line. It makes them stand out. Now, not all systems allow you to do this when you're creating it in your email marketing system. And sometimes the other side of it, of the system people are reading their emails on, may not show it. But if you can do it, put it in there and try that and see if it makes a change as well. Then you also want to make sure that you're avoiding some of the trigger words out there and the actions in the subject line in that content that will make the systems flag that as potential spam. So things like using all caps in the subject line or lots of punctuation. So like adding an exclamation mark 5 times and some question marks and more. Things like that, or some of what they call spam trigger words. So words like free or earn income or make money or make dollar signs, things like that. HubSpot has a really great list of spam trigger words on their blog, on their website, and I'll link to that for you in the show notes. So if you go to marketingyourprivatepractice.com/45, I'll have a link to that blog because it's got a fabulous list of things that you should avoid in your subject lines. And if your email marketing system has an option for you to do a spam check, do it and use that. It's always a good thing to do too, and have the email system say, oh, yep, this is, got some spam triggers in it. And if it doesn't, then you're good to go. So taking the time to plan out the subject lines will really help you with a boost of those open rates, because the idea is that's going to get more and more people opening it up. Number 4 is to test your email and see what it looks like on mobile. So you definitely want to do a test and a proof of this, not only for reading the information, but looking for some of the things that could go wonky when somebody's looking at the email on a cell phone or a tablet. So typically I'm looking for things, images will look out of place, or they'll only show on part of the screen because maybe they were too big, or the image moves over content and you get like one letter on a line. So you want to do what you can to fix these up. If your email cannot be easily viewed on a mobile device, chances are it'll get deleted instantly. One study that I read said that if it's not formatted for a mobile device, no matter how much people love your content, it will probably get deleted in less than 3 seconds. So if you can, do a preview, take a look at it, check it out on mobile, desktop, tablet view. A lot of systems have these options these days, and double check it. Takes less than 2 minutes to preview this, and that will help you with your open rates as well. If it looks good on mobile, people are going to click through and read it. So definitely checking that out on a mobile version is going to help you as well. The last thing in our list here of factors that can affect your open rates and deliverability rates is really something that is not going to affect it by you doing it or by it happening, but it's something that you can look at and do to fix and take the time to see what could be a trend of a good thing or a bad thing and work to make sure that you can boost and improve your results from that. So number 5 is tracking and reviewing your numbers and your stats. Now, I know people don't like talking about tracking stats, but it is something that will help you in the long run, and it doesn't take a lot of time to do. But I run into people who are doing email marketing and have for years, and they never take the time to look at their numbers and stats. You can learn a ton from looking at this. Now, I do believe you can learn even more if you take what you have in the reports in your system and put it into a stats tracking type of file. I have a simple Excel file that I use as a way to track these numbers. I do it for myself and I do it for my clients. And it's called my stats tracking template is what I have. It's actually a lead magnet that I offer on my website. And I'll put a link to that for you as well. So basically what we do is we pull the information from the different systems each month. Email marketing reports, social media reports, podcast stats, Google reports, everything. And we compile them into this tracking document and compare them. If you do this, it will help you see the trends and know what you want to change and improve. And yes, I know you can just use the reports in the system and look and see what are your open rates, what are your click rates, and all of that. But when you take the time to pull the numbers out of your system and put them into something like this stats tracking file that I use, what it allows you to do is have that big picture view. So you can often look at it, see the trends or see things that will help you know, this kind of subject line is pulling higher open rates. This one is not. And that helps you learn what you want to do more of and what you want to do less of. So it is something that I highly recommend everyone do. We have an entire module of training on this in the Thrive Marketing Academy. So I teach all of my members in there how to do this because tracking numbers like this is so important to knowing how your marketing is working and what you should be changing and improving. So I'll definitely link to where you can get your own copy of the stats tracking template. And if you have it already, make sure that you're using it for your newsletters too. Look at those open rates, look at the click rates, analyze what you're seeing, and think about what you could do to change and improve that. Okay? You can get your own copy at pepperitmarketing.com/free stats, but I will link to that in the show notes here too. And it also comes with a video that shows you how to use the tracking template and customize it for your own as well. So these are the 5 factors that you want to think about and consider when it comes to your email marketing and your newsletters in particular. They are, for a recap, your email marketing system that you're using. Number 2 is the email system your subscribers are reading your emails on. Number 3 is subject lines and optimizing them for people to open more of your emails. Number 4 is testing your newsletter to see what it looks like on a mobile device and making fixes so that it is pleasing to the eye when they look at it on mobile and will read it. And the 5th one is tracking and reviewing your numbers and your stats so that you know what to change and improve and help boost those open rates and click rates. So if you plan around these 5 factors and you follow some of these tactics, it will help you improve your email marketing deliverability and your open and click rates. But you've got to take the time to put into making these changes and factoring them into your processes for doing your newsletters and your emails. Don't skimp on the planning, or you could end up with fewer people opening your emails and reading the content you take the time to put out there. So your action steps from today are: review these 5 items, review your newsletter, and look at your email stats. Can you spot any trends, anything that you could do for more growth, anything that you could do to offset any declines? And go through this list and decide which of these 5 factors could be ones affecting your email marketing results, and work on the tactic that will help you shift those results and see an uptick from what you're doing. Now, if you're not sure what to do when you check these 5 areas out, why not book a free marketing audit with me? These are something I offer as part of my podcast. They're free to you. We sit down together. We go over your focus area that you're having trouble with. In this case, it could be understanding how you can improve your newsletters and your email marketing results. We'll look at what the issues might be and what action steps you need to take next. So we do this together, you and me. We record the session. It becomes a podcast episode here. So it's also a little bit of free marketing for you, because we put a lot of your information into that podcast episode and the show notes for it, as well as the marketing we do for it too. But the biggest thing is, it's a free 30-minute session where you could get some action steps on what you need to do next to improve your own newsletters and email marketing. So you can book a free audit at pepperitmarketing.com/audit, and I will link to that in the show notes as well. So this is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off by saying thanks for listening in today. And remember, if you want to thrive in practice, this will mean taking the time to not only be consistent with your newsletters, but reviewing what you're doing and making changes to improve those email marketing results, because those shifts in your results can lead to more clients. And I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.